Hello, my astrology friends. This is Lada from AstroLada.com, and today I'm honored to present to you a new wonderful astrologer, Vedic astrologer. Her name is Parvati. Hello, Parvati.
Hello, Lada. Thank you so much for having me.
I really loved your videos on YouTube that you do, like for new moons, full moons, using Vedic astrology, and your knowledge flows and you explain it. You're versed in the Vedic culture, but you live in a Western culture, you live in the States, and you explain it very simply for Western minds. That's what I loved, with modern terms as well. And I'm so happy that you're joining our team at AstroLada. For those of our followers that are lovers of Vedic astrology, and I want to present you to people. Say a few words about yourself, who you studied with, and how you work exactly with people. But today, just to say, Parvati will be talking to us about Nakshatras, the 27 lunar constellations that are some of the most unique part of Vedic astrology. But yes, you have the word now. Tell a few words about yourself.
So, thank you very much, Lada. Yes, my name is Parvati, and I am a classical, traditional, lineage based Vedic astrologer. I study in what's known as a parampara or a lineage from that goes back millennia. And my main guru or teacher of the lineage is the amazing uh, Pandit Sanjay Rath. And this is the lineage under which I study. And yes, I offer on my YouTube channel the full moon and the new moon readings. And I also sometimes, if it's a big month and we're going to have a lot of planets changing signs or a lot of activity, then I'll also do monthly forecasts. I do one on one live readings, Vedic astrology birth chart readings on Zoom. And I also have a mentorship program, which is a 6-week program where we study one on one and you learn more the techniques and you get more insight and in depth knowledge and insight about not only your chart, but how the planets, how the houses, how the transits, how it's all working in your life. So those are my offerings, and you can find me at Visionary Veda VEDA
A link
on
below
you.
to your I'm putting a link below to your
Okay,
profile
perfect.
on the website, and
Okay,
I put the links. People can see them below as well.
wonderful.
If you want to connect
Okay,
with Parvati, there is the description below and cards we usually put.
okay. Thank you so much, Lada. So today, I would love to present the nakshatras, and as Lada mentioned, they are the 27 fixed stars that are the basis of the signs. They are the building blocks. They are the energetic portals that create all the signs. Now, the nakshatras are very much tied in to the sidereal zodiac. However, if you are a tropical astrologer, you can also take a lot of great knowledge and information and get a lot of great insight using the placement of where your moon is. And I will cover why we use the moon and why the moon is the most important to the nakshatras. But nakshatras literally are the fixed stars, and sidereal literally means of the stars, right? So this is one level one level more in. So you see like the pulse of the energies coming through these stars. You know, astrology is all about the study of light. In the Vedic terms, in the Sanskrit terms, it's called Jyotish. Jyoti literally translates into light. And what gives us the light? But the sun and the stars are the ones that emanate light. It also comes from the ancient Vedic knowledge of the four Vedas, the ancient technology from the Vedic system. And Jyotish is considered to be the eye of the Vedas. So we are considered to be seers, literally. Those that can see and understand the language of light. So I've prepared a presentation for you guys, and just know I don't want anybody to feel intimidated. The presentation will speak in Vedic terms, but I want to also teach how you can use this information if you are studying or practicing tropical Western astrology as well. So I got you.
Thank you. That's great. I use tropical zodiac, but I use sidereal nakshatras, and I can do just a reading of a person just by looking the big three: sun, moon, or ascendant. What is nakshatra they in, and you know so much about it's like adding 27 more new signs to astrology. That's why I love it.
Yes, it gives so much more depth to understanding what's behind the planets and behind the signs. And then on another webinar, we can talk about the soul planet as well, because that's also a very important planet when looking at a chart. It's just so interesting. It's never-ending learning and knowledge, and yeah, I love it.
I'd love to. Yes, the soul planet, also known as Atma Karaka.
Yes, yes. There's so many dimensions of insight, you know?
Yes. Do you know how to share screen?
Okay, I think there's a button here that says share.
At the bottom.
There we go. And we have, let me just close this real quick, Lada. Hold on a second. Let me just close that. All right. Okay. So let's share. Okay. So can you see my screen?
Yes.
I'm going to leave this sidebar up because I'm going to go between the slides because there's so much information packed on each other. So this is my presentation for AstroLada. And again, my name is Parvati and I am Visionary Veda. So the very first thing that we need to understand, the basis that we are working from, and you'll see as we go through the presentation how it all kind of fits and builds on itself, is the four pillars, the four main pillars of life. This is what makes a person's life whole and complete. All right. Now, I'm sure a lot of you have seen this chart here. This is a Vedic chart. They call it the diamond chart. Okay. And just like when you see the round chart, you know, the houses all stay the same. Like in the round chart, you see where the rising is. It's always in the same place, right? Similarly here, all of the houses stay the same. This is always, the top diamond is always the first house, right? And it goes anti-clockwise. So first house, then the second house, third house, fourth house, fifth, sixth, seventh house, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, and 12th. The main thing is that the middle, the center diamond, are the pillars. So the first house is always going to be the house of Dharma. All right. And Dharma is your duties in this life. It's your principles, your ethics, your values, doing what is right. Okay. The 5th and the 9th from each house is its support. Okay, so that is the triangle. It's called a kona or trikona, triangle trikona. So 5 and 9 from the center houses causes that triangle. So we have 3 dharma houses, right? And dharma is the element of fire. Then we have the Artha trikon, right? Artha is your work, what you do to create a sustainable material reality for yourself. So that is the 10th house, right? Your work in the world. It's right here. And then 5th and 9th from that 10th house. So that would be 10, 2, and 6. That is the Artha Trikon, and this always stays the same, this layout. The signs will change, just like the round chart, the signs change depending on your rising, but these are the significations for the houses. It's very important basic understanding. All right, so these are the Artha houses, and that is the element of earth. So one in the natural zodiac would be Aries, fire, but it could be any sign. So this is Dharma, fire. 10, right, in the natural zodiac would be Capricorn, which is earth. So 2, 6, 10 is earth. Then we have Kama. And Kama is our desire, our pleasures, our enjoyment of life. We need to have pleasure in our lives to have a full, fulfilling life on this planet. That would be the 7th house, right? The 7th house also shows relationships. So that is an element of air. And 5th and 9th from that 7th house is the Kama Trikon or the Kama triangle, right? So we have the 7th house, the 11th house, and the 3rd house. And then lastly, the last pillar is Moksha. And Moksha simply means a release, a liberation, a surrender, a letting go. Sleep is also considered Moksha. Rest, sleep, detachment from the everyday mundane reality so we can recharge and feel nourished. So the 4th house is the Moksha Kendra. These 4 houses are called Kendras, the pillars. And the supporting 5 and 9 from that house are the Moksha Trikona or the Moksha Triangle. And of course, that is connected with the element of water. In the natural zodiac, the 4th sign is Cancer. So again, the signs will change depending on the time that you're born, depending on your rising, but the houses still indicate these 4 pillars of life. The main diamonds are the Kendras. It's very important to have planets in some of these Kendras so that you feel some kind of support in your life. And then the 5 and 9 from each main pillar are the supports. And there's always going to be the same element. All right. So those are the 4 pillars of life. And the reason that I'm speaking about this is that you're going to see this theme reoccurring in the nakshatras. Vedic astrology takes the entire picture, the entire zodiac, at all of the indications, and then distills it down to get very, very detailed and very, very precise so that you could get more insight into your karmic makeup. Our charts in this lifetime, they say, according to the Vedic philosophy, is a map of the karmas, the samskaras, the imprints from our past lives that in this life we learn the lessons from and can move on with our soul journey. I just wanted to share that with you. Now, what are the nakshatras? As Lada and I spoke about just earlier, they are what's called the lunar mansions, or the fixed stars in the sky that create the 12 zodiac signs. Nakshatra is one way to look at it in Sanskrit. It means lunar abode, the region of a sky. Some people look at it as Nakshatra. Tara means star. And this would be the map of the stars. They create the signs of the zodiac. And the most important planet that we look at is the moon. Because the moon symbolizes and rules our minds. And as you know, perception creates our reality. You know, two people can be at the same place, witness the same thing, but perceive it completely differently. So how you perceive is how you create reality. Now, the moon, it goes and it visits each fixed star one time per day, all right? And I'm going to get into that in the next slide. But just in the myth, in the stories of the moon with the nakshatras, the stars are considered to be the 27 wives of the moon. Now, the moon is a very sensual planet in Vedic astrology. So the moon likes to visit all of his different wives. The moon, the mind likes variety. It likes newness. And it's also very interested in different energies. So all of these stars are his wife, but I'll talk about how that works in the next slide. The sun rules the signs. The moon rules the stars. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to the 12 signs, the sun is very important. But when it comes to the 27 fixed stars, the moon is the most important here.
So each nakshatra has one major star that it's centered on.
What's that?
Each nakshatra is centered around one major star.
Not all of them. Some of them is one major star, but some of them, like Krittika, is the Pleiades, is a cluster of star. So where that light impulse is coming from is that region of the sky. There are many nakshatras. For example, Chitra nakshatra is Spika or Spika, right? That's one star, but that's a very strong star. Rohini, oh God, I'm just drawing a blank. Help me. The Western name for Rohini.
Aldebaran, the star.
Right, that's like one star. But some of them are twin stars. For example, Purva Bhadrapada, Uttara Bhadrapada, they're like the bed cot. So there's 2 stars for the front legs of the bed, 2 stars for the back legs, right? But they are major stars in the sky because the ancients were able to see, I'm sorry, the sunlight is shining on me here. The ancients were able to see those parts of the sky prominently. Right? And they're the backdrop to the signs. All right. Okay, so the moon, right? Because it rules our minds and it is the most changeable, it helps us to give more precise insight into each individual. Now, I know in the Western system, I also studied Western astrology, by the way, before I got into the Vedic astrology. We mostly go by the sun, right? The sun signs. But sun is in one sign for 30 days. So many different people, so many, I don't know, thousands, millions of people are going to be born in that 30-day time period while the sun moves through one sign. So we want to get to know and see your personal karmas and your journeys, right? So we use the moon, but the moon and the ascendant. The moon moves through the zodiac in 27.321 days, right? Roughly is his journey, his orbit, revolution around the earth. So these 27 nakshatras he visits once a day. So we get the flavor of the moon. Then we look at the sign, then we look at the placement, then we look at the aspects. But the nakshatras are key to giving us insight into our minds and the workings of our mental, of our mind. All right. So 27 days to revolve around the earth. So these 27 wives get visited by him every day. Now we further break it up because we want to get very, very precise into 4 sections, but I'll talk about that in the next slide. Now the moon ruling our mind. Now this is very important. The nakshatras carry our prana. They are the element of vayu or air. So when they come together, the moon being jala, being water, right? The water element absorbs that energy of prana or life force energy from that fixed star and creates not only our mental body, but also the moon rules the blood in the body. So it infuses that prana into our blood and also helps to create our physical body and our connections with others, right? The moon is the great connector. So depending on the nakshatra, that is what you're bringing. That's the flavor of the life force that you are expressing in the world. Okay, so now I have another picture of this so that we'll in the other slides, but this is where it gets, this is where you have to pay a little bit of attention, okay? So this is like the main teaching. Now, if you can see here, this is the zodiac, right? You see here Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, so on and so forth, all the way to Pisces, okay? So we break up the zodiac into 3 parts that spans from starting always, right, with fire. Remember, the first house is fire, is Dharma, starting always with the fire sign, Aries, and always ending with a water sign. So from Aries to Cancer is the first section. This is the personal section. If your moon is in this first third, you are very much in a personal growth period. You could think of it as also a younger soul, right? That is just establishing themselves here. And they very much are the ones that are in the present moment. If you think of, a child growing up, right? They're very much care about their family. They're very attached to, their family unit, their family of origin, like feeling secure, Taurus, food and comforts, having fun, playing, Gemini, Cancer, like having a connection with the mother. So these are the people in the present. So this is personal. Then the next third goes from the fire sign Leo and ends in the water sign Scorpio. This is interpersonal. This is the next stage of life. So are all about connecting, getting married, having success in the world, getting a good job, learning about each other, connecting with others, growing your friendships, growing your status in society, right? And then, of course, the last third are transpersonal or universal planets. So the second third, they are more interested in the future, what they're going to create, present, future. And then the last third are interested in universal themes. So this is when we grow into someone who wants to establish a new way of doing things that'll help the planet, invent new tools, invent new ways of manifesting things for the benefit of society, right? And these are universal. And these people on this side, they are more in the past. They look at the past to see how to evolve us as a humanity. So where the moon is placed in these three parts also gives us a lot of insight into the nature of your personality. Now, within all of these three sections sits 9 sets of the stars. The first 9 here, the second 9 here, and the third 9 there, right? So 9, you're going to see, is a number that's going to keep coming up. It's a cosmic number. If anybody studies numerology, you know that 9 is like the highest in numerology, because it's 3 sets of 3s. Anyway, that's a whole nother topic. Stay focused. So 3 sections of the chart. So each set of nakshatras is 9, 9, and 9. And the nakshatras go in an order of 9 because they also symbolize or have rulership in a way, okay, in a very loose way, of each of the 9 planets. Each of the 9 planets are connected. Now, just a quick side note, in Vedic astrology, we only use 9, okay? So we go sun, moon up to Saturn, and then Rahu and Ketu, which are the nodes of the moon. We don't take into account on a personal level Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto, because those are planets that we cannot see. Again, right? The eyes, the light is not received by our eye. And as you know, in quantum physics, anything that's observable, we have an instant relationship to, right? The observed and the observer become symbiotic. They affect each other. This is why those planets are taken into account. But Vedic astrology does use those 3 planets, the outer planets. And they even have Vedic names for the outer planets. They are seen in mundane astrology, like what's happening now, right, with the Pluto return. They're seen in generational mundane aspects. But when we are looking at a person's chart, we want to see the personal planets. So those are the 9 planets from Sun till Saturn plus Rahu, which is the north node, and Ketu, which is the south node, all right? So each section, each lunar mansion, each nakshatra is 13 degrees and 20 minutes, right, in length. So each one of these, I'm going to change to a different chart here so you can see better. Each one of these nakshatras, you see here, we start with the first one in Aries. This is Ashwini, then Bharani, then Krittika, the Pleiades, like this, 27, okay? each one of these nakshatras, because in one day, many people can be born as well, right? Not as many as 30 days, but still a lot of people are born on the same day. So what differentiates people born on the same day? What differentiates, for example, twins, right? How are they completely different? That's because each fixed star, each nakshatra is further classified into what's called 4 sections or 4 padas. Padas literally mean feet, like 4 feet of, or 4 legs of an animal, right? They're 4 sections, 4 padas. And the padas also take that same sequence of Dharma, the first pada, Artha, the second pada, Kama, pleasure, the third pada, and Moksha, right? Surrender, letting go, the fourth pada. And it repeats Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Again, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. And let me try and make this bigger so that you can see each one that is each. When the moon is in the first pada, each pada is 3 degrees and 20 minutes. 3 degrees, 20 minutes, 3 degrees, 20 minutes, for a total of 1320 for the whole thing. Am I good? Am I making sense?
Oh yeah, for me it's absolutely
okay, perfect.
easy.
Just wanted to check in. All right, so each of these padas, as you can see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, are each broken up into 3 degrees and 20 minutes. 3 degrees, 20 minutes, 3 degrees, 20 minutes, and the total of the 4 padas, the total of the nakshatra in this area is 13 degrees, 20 minutes, if you add up 3 degrees, 20 minutes 4 times, right? So it's very important, and I'm not going to get into it, but I just want to give you guys an understanding of why these nakshatras are so not only powerful, insightful, but important. Because where any planet sits in any of these padas is what is going to create the Navamsha or the soul chart, okay? And the Navamsha is a reflection of a few things. The first reflection is your internal relationship with yourself. I often call the Navamsha chart your soul chart, because externally you have your karmas, right, in the birth chart. It shows externally the karmas that you are going to have to overcome in this lifetime, as well as your gifts that you have to bring to the world and many other things. But we also have an internal relationship. And the Navamsha, the 9th division, shows that internal relationship, how we relate to ourselves, which is oftentimes different with how the karmas are manifesting in our lives, right? It can also be used, the Navamsha, the 9th division, to see your relationship with your spouse. Now, how interesting is that? Our internal soul relationship is what magnetizes our spouse to us, or our important relationships. Romantic relationships specifically are seen from the Navamsha. Now, you don't read the Navamsha the same way, but that's a whole nother topic. Maybe I can do a presentation on that one day. But for now, it's just important to understand how that 9th division is created. And it's created through the pada, or the section of 3 degrees, 20 minutes, where each planet is. So for example, let's say that your moon is in the first pada of Ashwini. So that is the Dharma. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. The 4 pillars of life are repeated here. So your moon, if it's in the first pada, will be 100% in a fire sign in the Navamsha. If it's in the last pada, it will be in a water sign. This is how it maps to our soul. That prana manifests in our lives internally through our soul. That's how the moon takes that prana and creates our lives, right? How it impacts our lives. So each sign will have, again, 9 padas. There's that cosmic number 9 showing up again, right? So 9 padas per sign. Here we have Aries. The first pada is Aries. So if the moon falls there in the first pada, it will be in Aries in the D9 chart or the Navamsha chart or the soul chart, right? Then the next sign is Taurus. Taurus starts with the second pada because 8 here, 2, 2, right? 8. And then the 9th pada falls still in Aries. Then Taurus starts with the second pada of Krittika. As you can see, Taurus is an earth sign and it starts with the Artha or the earth pada. Every sign starts with the same element. And then it continues, right? Till the 9th. Then we're in Gemini. Yes. This is the Vedic system is so it's perfectly matched. It's incredible how it's all fits together. All right. So it continues, and then we get to the very final, right? The very final nakshatra, the 9th one, Ashlesha. We've done all the series of 9 padas, and here between the water sign and the first fire sign, it matches, right? It completes.
Yeah.
Here, if you've heard the term Gandanta.
Yes.
Here is the point that they call Gandanta because it's a completion of that series and the beginning of the next series of 9 nakshatras and padas. This point is a bridge. It is a leaping over into another part of your life. And because anytime things are changing, cycles are changing, that point is considered to be very unstable. So if you have any planet between at 0 degrees, 1 degree, or 30 degrees, right, of each sign, it is considered to be in Gandant. And people who have any planets in this section, they have big karmas to overcome. It's not scary. Think of it as a huge soul opportunity to unwind this area indicated in your life.
I have my moon exactly there, 0 at Magha, 0. I can tell you my life has been like, I feel like an internal battle between darkness and light between me inside of me. It's crazy.
Lada, I just want to make sure, are we recording? I didn't see the...
It is recording.
Okay, great. Yes, so these are very powerful places, but it's nothing, like I said, nothing to be scared of. It's an opportunity. Always try and see everything as an opportunity to overcome and go to the next level of growth in your life and also within your soul. Okay? So
just to repeat, can you go back to that?
Yes.
So the 3 such Gandanta points, and this would be if, say, your moon or sun or even other planets are.
Yes.
The first one is at the end of Revati, at the beginning of Ashwini. The
first one technically is at the end of Ashlesha and the beginning of Leo, right?
Yeah.
This is technically the first Gandanta because we're born here, right? Like we're born Aries. We're coming out in the natural zodiac. Yeah. That first house is we are arriving. It's our rising. We're arriving into this life. Then we go through the personal planets, right? the personal section. You know, we're born, we want to discover our family, our fun, our mother, our home, right? We're very attached to that in the first stages of our life. Then we go to the next stage. The next stage, that Gandant, is between Cancer and Leo. And the Nakshatra is the ending of Ashlesha and the beginning of Magha. Then the next one, the interpersonal planets, right, is between Scorpio and Sagittarius. It's always between a water and a fire sign. And if you think about it on an elemental level, water and fire are very inimical, right? The water puts out the fire evaporates the water. So it's like this coming together, you know.
Storm.
Storm, yeah.
I kind of see it like a battle of sea dragons with the fire angels type of.
Yeah, or, you know, another way to think about it is how in Hawaii, right, the lava is meeting the sea.
Yes.
And there's a big steam, a big eruption there. But it's creating what? It's creating more stability, right? It's creating actually land.
New earth.
So,
yes. Oh,
yes.
these people are on a new path to create a new life and a new.
Yes, yes, exactly. That's a beautiful way to look at it, Lada.
Oh,
yes.
You have a perfect example. So I just want to tell people who are Western astrology, this would be if you have any planets using the tropical zodiac. If you have any planets around 23rd, 24th degree of the fire signs, you'd have a Gandanta. So 23, 24 degrees Aries, 23, 24 degrees Leo tropically, 23, 24 degrees Sagittarius tropically. Otherwise, that would be 0 degrees Sagittarius, 0 degree Leo, 0 degree Aries, sidereally with the actual constellations. Thank you.
Yes, and I actually have behind my screen another screen that it shows the matching Vedic signs, degrees, and the tropical one. So I'll show you. I have a few little cheat sheets for the tropical astrologers to be able to quickly assess what nakshatra their planets are falling in. I could show you guys now. This is a very easy, and it's let's see here. It is here. All right. You see, this is Wiki. It's the list of nakshatras. This is Wikipedia. And you see here, like for example, Krittika, it has the Latin or the Western name of that nakshatra. So Krittika is the Pleiades. So actually you can see exactly, if you have one of those apps, you can see exactly where that falls in the constellations. And it shows the Indian zodiac, right, degrees, and underneath it, it shows the Western zodiac degrees. And then here it has a little map showing exactly where that nakshatra is in the sky.
I think we're still seeing the previous picture.
This?
Yes, I'm still seeing the one with the.
Okay, let me do this.
You
all
have.
right. Yeah. What I'll do at the end of the presentation, I'll close this window, and then hopefully you'll be able to see.
Yeah.
Right, the little, because I put together a few websites to give you tools to be able to quickly see and translate it into the Western.
Perfect. Thank you.
Right. And if you're a Western astrologer, you can still use these nakshatras because it still matches that area of the sky. It doesn't matter what sign, but the nakshatras will still match your planets. And I don't know how to show you the back screen, but we'll deal with that later. And the reason, the difference, just really quickly, if I could digress, the reason that there's this 23, 24 degree difference, right? So all you have to do is take your Western degrees and subtract 24 degrees from it to get your Vedic placements, the Vedic degrees. And the reason being is because the Vedic system takes into account the precession of the equinoxes. And that's a whole nother topic, but the precession of the equinoxes, and since 2000 years ago, right, the precession of the equinoxes has been moving. It moves backwards through the zodiac. So in the time of Christ, the equinox was falling in Pisces. Now, if you see it, it's starting to fall. It's moving towards falling in Aquarius, right? The age of Aquarius. That's what that indicates. But that's just a side note. All right. So that just the Gandantas, right? Between Sagittarius and Scorpio. And then the last Gandanta is between Pisces and Aries. Now, out of this entire system, the most intense Gandanta point happens between Scorpio and Sagittarius.
Oh.
And the reason being, is that where yours is?
No, but I know people with moon there, for example.
Yes.
And their life has been so stormy, intense.
Yes.
It's crazy.
And in Vedic astrology, another reason I really love Vedic astrology is because we have access to remedies to help ease any kind of planet that is in a position that's difficult. So the reason why this is the most intense is because Mula Nakshatra is literally in the sky over our galactic center.
Mm-hmm.
So the people that are in Mula, have planets in Mula Nakshatra. Mula means the root. Anybody who studies yoga knows about the Muladhara, right? The root. And this is what connects us to the cosmic impulses that are coming from the galactic center.
Yes.
So that is why the people that have any planets in this section, they have very stormy lives, but they also have access to incredible insights and impulses coming from the galactic center that can elevate them. But that energy is so strong. Mm-hmm. Think about it. If we talk about like yogic philosophy, for example, the Muladhara, right? This is where the Kundalini Shakti sits. And if the Kundalini Shakti awakens, your whole life is going to transform. Mm. So think about this as like a mirror to what's internal. And the Vedas, the Vedic system, the yogis all say that the entire universe is contained within us. So this is a reflection of our internal cosmic alignment, our system, our cosmic system internally. That Kundalini Shakti is coiled, the galaxy is coiled, those impulses come to awaken us.
So people with, on especially this Gandanta between Scorpio and Sagittarius, they have a bigger chance for some powerful spiritual awakening, Kundalini rising. So
they do. The thing is that in order to not go insane, right? So if you're not prepared and the Kundalini Shakti awakens, it can really wreak havoc on a person. That's what the whole science and practice of yoga is about, right? Yoga, pranayama, breathing, is to make the channel strong, to be able to contain that life force energy, that very strong cosmic impulse, so it doesn't go haywire. Mm-hmm. As it's awakening, we can contain it. And that is why there's so many practices, meditations. So if somebody does have a planet in that area, it's very wise for them to practice grounding for them to practice clearing so that there's no blocks in that channel. Excuse me, there's no blocks in that upward movement.
Mhm.
So that it can come through them. They can be a clear channel of divine inspiration, divine light.
Then they'll
If
make miracles.
somebody, yes, if someone's not practicing that, it can be difficult,
I
right?
see
So,
self-destructive tendencies in those people because they
yes,
have such intense energies, and it sometimes their life gets thrown off into total chaos. And once they start centering themselves on a more spiritual path, then they're incredibly creative. Those people like
yes,
come up with ideas like no one else, and you wonder how. But they first go through this self-destructive phase sometimes, and to get to this incredibly
yes.
creative stage.
Yeah, because in this life, right, most people are not in touch with their divinity. So
Mhm.
they don't know that the power that they have. And they're not trained in how to ground, how to center, how to do practices so that that energy can move freely and constructively through them.
They
And
tend to go to addictions of sorts. Those Gandanta people
to
when they don't know
contain
how.
that,
Yeah, because
right?
all this energy coming to them, like the galactic center, the other class,
Yes.
they don't know what to do with it, and
They don't know what to do with it, so they want to like push it down, you
mm,
know? So maybe they use alcohol to dull that spring of cosmic energy that wants to move through them, you know, or anything to dull their sensitivities to it. It's understandable if you're not aware that you have these energies, right?
mm.
It's a whole process of becoming aware of oneself. And that's the beauty of astrology, no matter what kind of astrology. That's the point. So that we can get greater insight into our makeup and into our gifts and into our powers and use them wisely.
And it reminds me of another thing in it's Western but ancient Western astrology. They were calling those points in the sky exactly there because they were also looking at sidereal constellations, and they were calling it where Cancer means Leo was there was a monster there, the Hydra. Where
Yes,
Scorpio meets Sagittarius, it's another monster. It's the scorpion's tail, a sting. And
the
Pisces
sting.
meets Aries in the cosmos. It's another monster, Cetus. It was like a big sea monster. So that's why they would say this is people are battling between light and darkness who have positions there, and you explained it through Vedic astrology in a beautiful way, in a more empowering and positive way.
Yeah, that for me, it's very important with my readings, and if I'm looking at anyone's chart to empower us, you know, to be able to overcome these things and see the gift in our challenge. Because to overcome these challenges, we grow so much, and we all can do it. That is why we have these placements. There's no mistake in the universe. The reason we're brought in with that is because we are able to overcome it. Otherwise, it wouldn't be given to us if we couldn't do it.
No wonder I have 4 planets in Gandanta.
And look at how much you've overcome in your life.
Yes, but yes, definitely, definitely. But I've always
Yes.
wondered why such battle inside, within, outside. Why don't I feel like this, like so difficult being in this body?
It's difficult for us to be in this body, but if you look at your life, Lada, right? Look at where you are. Look at how much you've overcome. Look at how much you've grown spiritually. Look at how much you embody yourself now, right?
Makes
So
sense.
in that way,
Gandanta area. Thank you. Let's
bless the
talk more
Gandanta.
people because we've been speaking about Gandanta too long, but hopefully this will help
Okay.
some
I'll
people
move on.
that I'm sure people will resonate a lot, and whoever has similar positions will be very grateful for.
You'll feel it. So the last Gandanta, really quickly, is between Pisces and Aries, and this is symbolically when we surrender, we let go, and we become one. The very last portion of Pisces, we become one with the cosmic consciousness. And then we go to Aries, and there we have the rebirth, the beginning again, right? It's always a cycle, one ending and then one beginning. So let's continue. All right, so okay, so here I'm just have a little chart to break down the first 4 signs, the first 4 houses: Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, self, others, and universal. So this is just a little chart that I created just to help people to visualize and understand. All right. And then, okay, the other reason that the nakshatras are so important is in Vedic astrology, we have a technique called the Vimshotri Dasha, or the time periods. And you know, when you look back at your life, you can see certain chapters in your life. Like, wow, in that time period, I was such a different person. I had different values. I had different desires. I had a different way of thinking, of looking at the world. And now look how different I am. That's because each of the 9 planets rule a certain time period in your life, and they make the chapters of the book of your life. Now, if you add, they also all rule for a certain number of years. So if you add up all of these years, Vimshotri means 120. So this is 120 year cycle. So not everybody will go through all of the planets ruling them in their lifetime, at least not in this time period, this day and age. It always goes in the same order. So if you are born, let's say, in Ashlesha. So, okay, there's so much to share here. So I just want to make sure it's done properly. So each nakshatra, right? Each of the first set of 9, the second set of 9, the third set of 9 is ruled, very loosely ruled by one of the 9 planets. Now, more importantly than the planetary rulership is the deity. This is what, if you study the deity, this is what gives you more insight into your star. But the planets will rule each one in order from the 1st to the 9th. So Ashwini is ruled by Ketu, then Bharani, Venus, Krittika, Sun, Rohini, Moon, Mrigashirsa, Mars, Ardra, Rahu, Punarvasu, Jupiter, Pushya, Saturn, and Ashlesha, Mercury. And then it repeats again. Magha, Ketu, Purva, Phalguni, Venus, Uttara, Phalguni, Sun, Hasta, Moon, Chitra, Mars, and so on. That planet that rules that nakshatra where your moon is sitting in, again, very important, is what is going to start the time cycle and start writing the chapters of your book of life. So for example, let's say that your moon is in Chitra when you are born, then your time cycle will start with Mars, period. 7 years of Mars and 18 years of Rahu, then Jupiter, Saturn, and Mercury. And this dasha is the same sequence for everybody. It just starts in a different place depending on what nakshatra you're born under and what ruler you're born under. If your moon is in Revati nakshatra, it's ruled by Mercury, then your time cycle will start with Mercury And then the next time cycle will be Ketu, then Venus, and then Sun, and so on. But this is the same order: Ketu, Venus, Sun, Moon, Mars, Rahu, Jupiter, Saturn, Mercury, as the beginning of the nakshatra, right? And the end of the ninth nakshatra. It's the same sequence. So I won't talk about the Vimshotri time period because that's a whole nother lesson. But just so you know the importance and the key role that the moon plays in your chart. This is why the moon is so important in Vedic astrology. All right. So now let's discuss the nakshatras. All right. So, Lada, are you there?
Yes.
I'm wondering, okay, I'm going to try to share my screen here, my other screen. Can I just stop screen sharing for 1 second and try again just to show?
Of course.
Okay. All right. So here we go. All right. So this is, before we get into all the nakshatras and their descriptions, I want to show you guys this. This is the little cheat sheets for you guys. Can you see it now? And this is simply the list of nakshatras on Wikipedia. And as you can see, it's got the Vedic name as well as the scientific name of that nakshatra. So Krittika is the Pleiades. It shows the degrees for the Indian zodiac, and then it shows the degrees for the Western zodiac. And then here it shows an actual map, okay, of where that lies in the sky. So this is a very simple cheat sheet for you to be able to quickly see, based on your Western chart, what your moon nakshatra is in. All right, so even though I put degrees here in the header, I didn't put the degrees because I didn't know which, and I just wanted to show you that like quick cheat sheet. So Ashwini is the first nakshatra, and being the first nakshatra, right, its energy is that of moving forward. Now the nakshatras can move forward, the nakshatras can move backward, the nakshatras can be fixed. There's all these different categories, which for this presentation, this is just an introduction. There's too much to get into in this time, but just so you know for the future. It's the power of healing. The Ashwini nakshatras, if you think about it, it is depicted, the symbology is a horse. The most important thing to really connect with the nakshatras is the symbols and the deities. If you can connect in meditation or in study or in whichever way you want to these two things, it will give you depth of insight into each one of these stars. So the horse is what? Vitality, right? Think about horses like at a racetrack, the gates open and they just run out. They're strong, they're powerful. So it's energy, speed, movement. And the deities are the Ashwin Kumars, and they are the ones that bring healing. So you are actually, where the zodiac starts, you already have the power and the energy and the medicine to move through your life. How beautiful. You're already given that. So Ashwini ruled by Ketu. Then we have Bharani. The actual symbol of Bharani is a yoni. And the yoni is a Vedic term for the female genitalia. So this is the star of renewal, of birth, of transformation. Why is it transformation? Because the deity is Yama, and that's the Lord of Death. Now, how interesting is that? Birth and death combined in one star. So this is a beautiful cosmic nakshatra, right? It's said with Ashwini, we are getting in this place, we are getting the blueprint of our karmas. And then in Yoni, we are being birthed into this life with that blueprint, okay? Krittika is the Pleiades. It literally means a knife, and it is ruled by the deity Agni, which is fire itself, right? It's ruled by the sun, but Agni, the sun is Agni. And so it's the ability to, that's Dharma, right? The sun. It's the ability to cut through problems, to get to the truth, to do the right thing, to be a leader, to shine brightly in this world. Rohini, this is ruled by the moon. This is the moon's favorite star. And the deity is Brahma or Prajapati, which is literally the creator. And it's the star to make things grow in this life. It's a very gentle star. People born under this star are very creative. They like to enjoy life. They're very fertile. And I've noticed they are very beautiful. All the Rohini stars that I've met with that has moon in Rohini, they're beautiful people, just physically even to look at.
My best friend and my mom are both Rohini moon, and men adore them.
Yeah.
And
They just make people feel good. You know, they're very gentle and fun and creative people. Very blessed star. Then we have Mrigashira. This is ruled by the planet Mars. The deity is the moon. And its symbol is the head of a deer. So people with Mrigashira Nakshatra, they're always searching, right? Like a deer in the field, they're always curious, looking to what's this? What's this? You know, they can also be intimidated quite easily, right? Think about a deer. There's a noise, they get startled, but it helps one to find, seek out, search out fulfillment in life. They also like to travel, they want to explore, they want to seek truth. And they're also, even though it's Mars, but the deity, right, is the moon. So this makes them very gentle. Again, the deities are the most important. The planetary rulers just help set up the divisional chart, the Navamsha. Then Ardra. Now remember here we were talking about Mula Nakshatra being over the galactic center. We're directly opposite. That is the first pada of Ardra. So Ardra is on the other side of the zodiac, but still in that galactic center plane. So people who have planets in Ardra have a similar energy to Mula because it's in line with the galactic center. So it is ruled by Rudra, and it is symbolized by a teardrop. So it's a very emotional star. People with this star, with their moon in this nakshatra, feel very deeply and passionately, and they want to make sense of their world. And just like Mula, they have a lot of things that are like storms. It actually is, Rudra is the storm god. So it actually symbolizes storm. So they also have to go through a lot of transformation, which may cause them great emotional pain. But again, in the end, they become stronger. They can withstand the storm, right? They stand in the center of that hurricane. Punarvasu is ruled by Jupiter, and the deity is Aditi. Aditi is the great mother goddess who gave birth to all the gods. It's ruled by Jupiter, and so it is the star of renewal, of recovery, of spreading one's light, right? Enlightening the world with hope, like a great mother caring for others. Then Pushya, Saturn is the planetary ruler, and the deity is the great Brihaspati. Brihaspati is the Lord that is that rules the planet Jupiter. That is the lineage of the planet Jupiter. So it's a great star, even though its planetary ruler is Saturn. It is the power of nourishment. It says here the cow's udder, but it is also symbolized by the breasts of the mother nourishing us when we come into this life. It's a beautiful, spiritual, kind, wise, nurturing star. And then the last star in the first series is Ashlesha. And remember, you were talking about the serpent, right? The symbology of Ashlesha is the serpent or the snake. The deity are the serpents. Also can be transformed into the Nagas, which are a more elevated form of the serpent. But this star is the entwiner. People that have planets, or specifically the moon, in this star tend to have a hard time letting go of things that hurt them. They tend to stay attached for longer than is good for them. But also, I noticed that many people that have this star into things of transformation, like alchemy, like also doing like plant, ceremonial plant, medicinal plant sort of ceremonies, right? Where, like, for example, ayahuasca, where you're taking in something that sort of feels like a poison, but it's transforming, it's clearing, it's cleaning you out, right? So this is that star. They're interested in making medicines, even traditional medicines, right? It's based on, poison is the base of medicine. So very interested in alchemy and medicine and things like that. So now we've finished our first set. Now we move to the next set. And again, it starts with Ketu, ends with Mercury. So Magha. What's the Western name for Magha? Regal. Right, Lada? It's regal, no? Regal.
Regulus. Regulus.
Regulus, yes. The heart of the lion. So this is the star of kings. This is the star of power, right? And this is the ability, and it's the deity is the Pitris. Now, what the Pitris are our ancestor. So if you think about it, kings, how are kings? They come through their ancestors, right? So it's very connected to the ancestors, to dignity, to leadership, and just being able to rule others, right? I think this is, in fact, I know that Donald Trump has Magha in his chart.
Magha.
Exactly.
On his rising in Mars, yeah.
It's amazing. It's just amazing when you start to see the people, right? The multi-dimensional person based on like a two-dimensional chart. And with the nakshatras, it adds so much more depth. So the next one is very interesting. Now, these two are a pair. Purva Phalguni, Venus, and Uttara Phalguni, Sun. This is known as the marital cot or the marriage bed. Purva Phalguni is the first legs of the marriage bed. It's the star of fortune. The deity is Bhaga. Bhaga is enjoyment. Your bhagya, right, is what you get to enjoy this life with. And so it's about love, it's about enjoyment, it's about connecting. Then the latter half of the marital bed, ruled by the sun, and the deity is Aryaman. Aryaman is one of Aditi's sons, and Aryaman is connection, kinship, friendship, right? The power to feel secure, love, connection, feeling secure in your relationships. So this all has to do with connecting with others. Then we get to Hasta. Hasta literally means the hand. It is ruled by the solar deity Savitar, or the sun, Surya. And people in this nakshatra have the power to create one's destiny. They are also very good with skills using their hands. So they can draw, they can create, they can build, they can guide with their hands. It's a very powerful star because, sorry about the sun, you guys, because the deity is the sun god, but the planetary ruler is the moon. So when the two luminaries come together, it creates a very beneficial, benefic star. It's a very beneficial star. These people can do a lot. They could do a lot of work, a lot of karma with their hands. And then we get to the 14th, which is the beautiful star of Chitra, which is also Spika or Spika. The symbology is a jewel, a shining jewel. And the deity is Vishwakarma. Vishwakarma is the divine celestial architect. He builds all the homes, the temples, the palaces of the gods. He also makes all of the weapons. He designs all of the weapons that the gods use. So he is the master creator. So people with this star have great opportunity to create their own lives and not follow anything that's already made for them. They make their own lives. It's connected to jewelry because the symbol is a jewel, jewelry designers, fashion designers, and even people that strategize for companies, put together sales strategies, marketing strategies, build something, create something. This is the star of opportunity, Chitra. People with Chitra have the power to create good karma through their creations. Then we have Swati. Swati is ruled by Vayu. Okay. And Swati's symbol is a sword, but it's also a like a new shoot of a plant coming out of the ground in spring, or a new blade of grass just appearing from the earth. The deity is Vayu, or the lord of the wind. And think about it, when a blade of grass or a new plant is coming out, a shoot is coming out, when the wind comes, it's not like a tree. It's not solid, it's flexible. It's able to move and sway with the wind. So Swati people, the sun, okay.
No, it looks
Swati
magical.
people,
It looks magical, honestly.
Swati people are very flexible and are very adaptable. They can bend, they won't break. And they have the power of the wind. So they can be very flexible, but also very forceful in their expression. It's not a bad thing, it's a good thing. It's a good thing to be able to put yourself out into the world and adapt to the circumstances around you. Then we have Vishakha. Vishakha's symbolism is a triumphant archway, and also the trident or the Trishul of Lord Shiva. It also shows two different paths. It's the star of purpose, and its deity is also dual. Indra, the king of gods, and Agni, the lord of the fire. Many people that have Vishakha Nakshatra, the one thing that I've noticed is they always have these options in life. Their path always like splits and they don't know which way to go. So Vishakha, but whichever way they go, remember the symbolism is a triumphant archway. So they will walk through into victory. It's important to know that no matter what you choose, you will choose the right thing. Then Anuradha, this is a beautiful nakshatra also. It's the star of friendship. The deity is Mitra. Mitra literally means friendships. And it's a beautiful, the symbolism is a beautiful lotus flower. It's the star of success. It gives people this devotion, this bhakti, as we call it. Kindness, cooperation, friendship, devotion, a really, really lovely star. You know, again, ruled by Saturn, you see? So all the planets have so many different facets to them. And then the last one in that Gandanta point, right when we're getting to the end, is Jyeshta. And Jyeshta is the eldest sister, whereas Rohini is the younger sister. So Jyeshta in the myth has some jealousy over Revati because she's the older sister, not Revati, sorry, Rohini. Rohini's the younger sister. But as the elder sister, she is also very protective. The deity is Indra, the king of the gods, and it has the power and courage to conquer one's fears. It also protects. She's the eldest. It's her job to protect those that are vulnerable, and it helps one to overcome any feelings of lower self-worth or jealousy towards other people. It's a little bit more difficult because it's closer to the Gandanta point, but there's always power in these nakshatras.
I've noticed Jyeshta people, either ascendant or moon, others attack them more. Like they have more enemies overall, but they learn through this to be very strong. Exactly like you say.
Yes. And they can have jealousy or they can attract jealousy, right? It can go both ways because in reality, it's just a reflection. The outward is a reflection of the inward. But they become strong and then they learn how to conquer and gain courage to be themselves and not let that affect them. It's so interesting. Then Mula, of course, the root sitting over the galactic center. Now, the deity of this nakshatra is Niriti. And Niriti, if you can think of the goddess in the Hindu pantheon, in the Vedic pantheon of Kali, the fierce goddess, Niriti is the goddess of destruction. And so we spoke about Mula, but just to sum it up here, that things need to be destroyed in order for the individual to be able to transform, to wake up, to go beyond one's illusions. Yeah, the cosmic awakening that we spent time talking about happens here. And for people with Mula Nakshatra, don't worry, you can do it. Learn to know thyself and let go of the things that are being taken away because it's only for your good. Then again, we have, moving into Sagittarius, we have the pair of nakshatra. There's 3 pairs of these pair nakshatras as well. So we have the first, which is Purva Ashada, also ruled by Venus. And it is the winnowing basket. It is ruled by Apas, or the Lord of Water, right? Varuna. It's the power to invigorate, to have more energy. And the winnowing basket helps one to separate what is good for them and what can be let go, right? Mula is the root. It's broken, but the winnowing basket is a gentler way, right? To let go of what is important or let go of what's not as important and keep that which is nourishing to you. The second pair is Uttara Ashada. This is the star of victory. And these people is ruled by the sun. The deities are the Vishwadevas. It's a very, very powerful nakshatra because you have all the energy of all the sons of Aditis, all the devatas, all the gods, as you can call it, give their light to this nakshatra. Then Shravana, this is ruled by the moon. Shravana literally means the ear, and it helps people to be able to listen to their soul, to listen to the messages, right? To be able to learn, to connect, to listen to the wisdom, not only of others, but of the higher source. The deity is none other than Lord Vishnu, the preserver himself. So this is, again, a very powerful star. And if you notice, now we're in the third section of the zodiac. Notice how the deities in the third section become more and more spiritual and more cosmic, right? They become higher and higher vibrations. That's not to say that people born in the first half are not cosmic. We're all cosmic creatures. But the impulses become more universal versus personal or interpersonal. So Dhanishta, this is ruled by Mars. It literally means a drum. So it gives fame, it gives abundance, it gives the native the ability to march forward, to march to the beat of their own drum, if you will, right? Their own rhythm. The deity is the great lord of the dance, Nataraja. But traditionally, it is the 8 Vasus. And the 8 Vasus are also the 8 gods of light and fire. So these people create rhythm, they create order, they create joy for others as well. Then Shatabhishak, ruled by Rahu. This is another very cosmic. The symbol is the circle, right? Empty and full at the same time. It is ruled by Varuna, right? Who is the lord of the oceans. And it's a veiling star, meaning these people have insight into great secrets and knowledge, but also it is a star of 1,000 physicians. So they also have amazing healing capacity and capabilities. And now we're at the last 3. We're moving into the cosmic sign of disillusionment, which is Pisces, and we have the next pair. Just like Purva Phalguni and Uttara Phalguni are the marriage cot, right? The consummation of the marriage. Purva Bhadrapada and Uttara Bhadrapada are the funeral cot. And the deities of each of these are like the most cosmic deities of the entire nakshatra system. These are the ones that activate that huge transformation, that Kundalini Shakti, right? We have for Purva Bhadrapada, Aja Ekapada, which literally means a goat standing, doing his tapasya, doing his, what's the word for tapasya in English? Oh gosh, Lada, what's the word? Doing his spiritual practices, right? His austerities, that's the word, in order to rise higher. You know, goats, they climb so high. This goat is so in charge of his energy that he can raise himself with just one foot. So he is the blessed foot. It's the spiritual fire of transformation, the awakening of the Kundalini Shakti and the transformation. And his twin nakshatra, Uttara Bhadrapada, which is the second 2 legs of the cot, this is Ahir Budhnya. This is the sleeping serpent of the deep sea, or the Kundalini Shakti, right? The warrior, the power to bring rain, flow, to purify. Both of these nakshatras have a strong element of purification. One does it through fire, Purva Bhadrapada. the other does it through water, Uttara Bhadrapada. Of these two, of course, Purva Bhadrapada is going to be more intense because fire is more intense, water is a bit more gentle, but they have the potential of awakening and self-realization and great spiritual transformation. And then the last but not least nakshatra is Revati. Again, we went from Ketu, Mula, to Revati, Mercury. And its deity is Pushan. It is the star of wealth. And what kind of wealth is it? It's the last nakshatra in the zodiac. It is the wealth of realizing one's soul, letting go of everything. Pushan is the kind, gentle shepherd, which at the point of us leaving these earthly bodies is going to protect our path back to source and guide us back to source. So it's like the shepherd guiding and protecting his flock, right? It's very transcendental and very nourishing. So that is very briefly a recap of all the 27 nakshatras. I did continue here with more information, but maybe Lada, if you'd like, I can continue, or we could do a part 2 where we talk about all the different gunas, the different archetypes of each nakshatra, whether it's Devata, Manushya, or Rakshasa, and the different yonis, because this comes into play when we're doing horoscope matching. Different animals with different animals, and it's called the yonis, okay? So the different animal sexual organs, if you will, right?
Yeah,
Genitalia.
Let's do it in 2 sections and
Okay, great.
what
Because there's
it was fantastic. So much information. It's like a foundation.
I hope it was helpful. And so in the next one, just a foreshadowing, we can speak about this. I go over which ones match, and then we could talk about you see how there's 1 through 9 again, right? The nakshatra numbers 1 through 9. So you can see the 10th nakshatra from your moon nakshatra, what any planet in that nakshatra will do for you. And this is also very interesting, but I think you are correct that we should do a part 2 because, take it in pieces. It's such a vast topic of knowledge.
Thank you so much, Parvati. You've prepared. You're an incredible teacher. You explaining it with 2-3 sentences. It's such deep topic, and I believe I have a lot more clarity now about the 27 nakshatras because I used to know just mine, my daughters, but now it's becoming clear. Thank you. It's amazing knowledge.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. Thank you so much, Lada, for this opportunity to share this knowledge with your audience. For those of you that are practicing astrologers, it's really, really good to start incorporating the nakshatras into at least the moon. When we get further, as Lada mentioned, we can look at the rising star nakshatra, we can look at the soul signifier star, the Atmakaraka nakshatra, and different nakshatras, but start to see in your clients how these nakshatras are playing out in their lives. And that'll just give you not only more insight, but really start to absorb the energies and the understanding of how these nakshatras play out in the horoscopes.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And it will be fun later on even to give specific examples, like how literal they can be. Like you said, Chitra jewel. And one of my friends is Chitra moon, and my husband is Chitra ascendant. They love bling bling, diamond watches. They love kind of
and looking good. They always have to look really good.
always
very colorful, also very bright and colorful. And Chitras, it's interesting. Like when a Chitra walks into a room, you will notice them.
Oh, absolutely. And even it's like remedies as well. Mine is, it's if it's connected, like mine is Magha. I can pray to my ancestors for help, for example, because it's
Yes.
ancestors and
Yes.
the
And
symbol of the moon to strengthen you in some way.
yes, and to connect with your lineage, right? Because you will receive a lot of guidance on how to show up as a leader. And look at you, you are a leader. You are such a great leader of astrology knowledge and your channel, and you help so many people like me to present. So, there you are. You're the queen of astrology, Lada.
Thank you so much. You're very sweet. Thank you, Parvati. I can't wait again for our next lesson with you. This is a proper lesson. And if anyone would like to connect to Parvati, I'm putting link below. You get to the profile, write to her. She's offering this group work where it's like, what did you call it exactly?
It's a mentorship program. So
So
it's a 6-week program where we use your chart. We'll be in small groups, so everybody gets individual attention. And then we can, slowly go through and learn the significations of the planets, the signs, the houses, all of that good stuff.
or a personal individual
Or
chart.
personal reading. Yes,
Thank
of
you.
course.
Welcome to the AstroLada family.
I'm
And
so happy to be a part of it.
thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Have a blessed time studying the nakshatras now.
Yes.